Good morning, I'm Sarah. Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. It is International Women's Day today. Women making notable progress in social, political and economic sectors, but decisive roles still distant. Hindu devotees, among others, celebrating Mahashivaratri today. Devotees throng Shiva shrines across the nation, especially Pashupatinath, since early morning. Sweden officially joins NATO, becoming alliance's 32nd member after Russia's invasion of Ukraine spurred the country to abandon its long-held position of neutrality. And Liverpool thumped Sparta Praha 5-1 in their first leg match of the last 16 of Europa League. Marseille and AC Milan also victorious. It's the International Women's Day today. The world has progressed from a patriarchal history that limited women's roles to household works, as women have been making significant strides across all sectors. Women's presence have been increasing in different professions and sectors as envisioned by the state's constitution. Access to education has improved compared to the first census, as the literacy rate among women stands at 69.4%, which is 12% higher than the census in 2011. Women's participation in entrepreneurship has also been encouraging. Based on the Economic Survey of Nepalesia 2078, 29% of total industries in operation at the moment are led by women. The Constitution of 2047 ensured 5% women's participation in general election, creating space for women in politics. After over 2 decades, the Constitution promulgated in 2015 ensured 33%. However, in the recent election, just 9 women won in the 165 seats of the House of Representatives. The reason being parties failing to field female candidates. However, Constitution has ensured presence of 91 female lawmakers at the Parliament. The provisions are similar for National Assembly, where 21 of the 59 members are women. The presence of women at local levels have also been notable, as in the previous election, 41% of the 753 local representatives were women. It is also Mahashivaratri today, mostly celebrated by Hindu devotees. Shiva shrines across the country, especially Pashupatinath temple in the capital, have been flocked since yesterday. Devotees fast for the day, offer milk, plants locally known as dhaturo, and belpatra, which is also known as wood apple. Apart from Pashupatinath, the capital's Gokarneshwar and Doleshwar temple are also flocked by devotees on this day. The Pashupatinath Area Development Trust has said special arrangements have been made to facilitate visitors, as more than 4,000 police personnel have been deployed in the area. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, the women empowerment protest has had positive effect in which area the most? Your options are A, political, B, social, and C, financial. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Sweden has officially become the 32nd member of NATO after it completed its accession process in Washington. The handover of documents took place at a ceremony 2 years after Sweden applied to join the military alliance following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said that unity and solidarity would be Sweden's guiding lights.
Thank you so much. I guess several reasons. Obviously it was very eye-opening that what Russia actually did and have been doing for quite some time against Ukraine, that could actually happen to any independent democracy in Europe. Had Ukraine been a part of NATO, the Russians simply couldn't have invaded Ukraine. So I think it was very eye-opening for Sweden. But another reason is that we have been coming close to NATO for decades, honestly. So in that sense, it's a very natural final step rather than a big change.
Sweden applied to join the defense alliance after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, but its request was blocked by 2 members. Turkey initially withheld approval in a row over what it called Sweden's support to Kurdish separatists. It eventually lifted its veto in January of this year. France and Jordanian armed forces, among several others, airdropped aid over the Gaza Strip as nations scramble to parachute humanitarian supplies down to the enclave after aid agency warned of a growing humanitarian disaster. Famine looms over Gaza as aid supplies, already sharply curtailed during the war, have dwindled to barely a trickle. Swaths of territory are completely cut off from food. The Gaza Health Ministry has said 2 Palestinians aged 15 and 72 died of dehydration and malnutrition in Al-Shifa and Kamal Adwan hospitals on Wednesday this week, raising the toll of such deaths in just over a week to 20. Fears were also mounting that the Gaza conflict could spread in the Middle East, especially after a series of attacks on vessels in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden by Iran-aligned Houthi forces acting in solidarity with the Palestinians. The Jordanian armed forces said they carried out 9 aid drops on Thursday in the northern Gaza Strip. The U.S. military carried out its 3rd airdrop of aid into Gaza on Thursday, dropping more than 30,000 meals. The Israeli offensive in Gaza, which is supported by the U.S., has displaced most of the enclave's 2.3 million people and led to critical shortages of food, water and medicine. The U.S. officials have said aid dropped by air is expensive and insufficient alternative to the aid that is trucked in, given the scale of humanitarian crisis. Haiti residents find themselves struggling after an escalation in violence from gangs seeking to oust Prime Minister Ariel Henry. In the capital, Port-au-Prince, armed gangs set fire to a police station and looted a local food market on Wednesday night in a new episode of gang violence sweeping the Caribbean country. The chaotic situation has caused fuel shortages. Petrol stations shut down, prompting customers to buy in the street illegal sale of fuel. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who is not elected, landed in the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico on Tuesday, clearing doubts about his whereabouts after he traveled to Kenya last week to seal a security deal intended to secure the African nation's leadership of an international gang-fighting force. Port-au-Prince gangs battling for turf have signaled they could join together to fight an international force as a united front. Haiti's government said on Thursday that it would extend a state of emergency around Port-au-Prince for another month. The UN Humanitarian Affairs Agency also warned that the country's health system was nearing collapse, with shortages of staff, equipment, beds, drugs and patients, blood to treat patients with gunshot wounds. Gunmen kidnapped dozens of pupils in northern Nigeria on Thursday, residents and parents of missing children have said, in what would be the biggest abduction targeting a school since 2021. Police in Kaduna State did not immediately comment on the abduction, which happened shortly after morning assembly at the local government education authority school in the town of Kuriga. Parents have said that on arrival at the school, the gunmen started shooting sporadically before abducting dozens of pupils and disappearing into the bush. Thank you for watching. Mahashivaratri and International Women's Day special continues here on Kantipur Television. Stay with us.